Hello, welcome. I know I'm a little bit early, so feel free to continue grabbing whatever else you need for tonight. Um, it might be helpful, maybe to grab an extra pillow. Um, Tonight, we're going to be practicing a lot a side lying posture where it might be helpful. But if not, don't worry, we'll make it work. It's been a week, I think, for everyone. Sometimes it's strange to offer classes when so much is going on in the world. But it is the one thing that I can offer people. Maybe something that helps people feel a little more themselves, a little more regulated or connected. And that's why I'm trying to keep doing it. um, excuse me. But here we are today. You might notice that my setup looks a little different. And that is because I am in the middle of a flare of my chronic condition, and my joints are very sore, very stiff. So when I feel like that, I tend to practice with this kind of old crib mattress of my kiddos. Um, it just adds about, I think it's about 3 inches of cushion beneath me, which helps me feel better and my joints feel better. So um, remember, you can use whatever you need to make your practice comfortable and to make your practice what you need it to be. So I'll be practicing on my little mat today. for folks for folks who are joining us in the chair, I will be giving cues, but I probably won't be demoing just because getting up and down several times is a little rough today. So I'll be demoing from down here. But as usual, if you're practicing in the chair, you might like a second chair, either for forward folds or to lift the legs up to make it a more reclined type posture using the two chairs if you like. You, of course, can also practice in bed. So, anything that feels good, anything that's working for you now and ever. Just double checking here to make sure I have the time. Yeah, I knew I started early. So don't worry, I'm going to repeat everything. Also, just a heads up, today we might have a bit more noise than usual. Unfortunately, there was a fire in the building across the street, so there might be some additional sirens. They seem to have everything under control. Everybody seems to be okay, but as the trucks come and go, there might be some additional noise that comes through. So just so you're aware, and nothing is surprising. um, but let me go ahead and say hello and welcome. My name is Shannon. My pronouns are they, them. And today we have a restorative practice with affirmations. And those affirmations are focusing on queer embodiment and queer joy, but you don't have to be queer to enjoy them because we all deserve to be embodied and we all deserve joy. Um, so, our props are pretty much our usual props. I have a bolster, blocks, blankets. If you have it available, a second pillow might be helpful for one of our postures today, but I'll give other options if you don't want to use the pillow for that. So, and as I mentioned, I am also using this kind of crib mattress that I bring out when I'm having a day like today where I'm in flare and my joints are sore and my body is achy, so that I can be kind to myself and offer myself what I need. So we'll go ahead and get started with our grounding. So today, you can be in any position that feels comfortable for you for your grounding. You can be reclined, maybe with a pillow beneath the knees or a bolster beneath the knees for a more restorative shavasana. You can be seated in a position that's comfortable. If you're practicing seated in a chair, maybe pressing the feet into the ground, we might scoot back against the support of the back or lean back if that's more comfortable. And we'll take a few deep breaths, maybe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And we might release with a sigh or vocalization. And we can take as many of these breaths as we need today. And whenever we're ready, we can return to our natural breath, whatever that looks like for us. We might follow the passage of air, maybe in through the nose or mouth, down through the throat. We might notice the heart space, the belly expanding with the breath. And on our exhale, we might notice the belly soften, the heart space soften, maybe warm breath coming out through the nose or mouth. And we'll follow this passage of air in and out on our own for the next 2 or 3 breaths. And when we're ready, we might release our awareness on the breath, allowing our breath to continue breathing itself. Maybe noticing what we're feeling in the body. We might notice if we have anywhere that's particularly tender, anywhere that we want to be careful with or cautious with. And we'll make note of those areas so that we can be as kind to ourselves as possible today. And once we've noticed those areas, we might take a moment to notice those spaces that are making contact with whatever we're resting on today. On the bed, the chair, the mat, the floor. Noticing the sensation in those areas, whether it's a difference in pressure or temperature, or maybe we don't notice any real difference at all. That's okay too. We might allow ourselves to rest down through these spaces, allowing them to carry the weight of the body and transferring that weight down into the earth beneath us, no matter how far beneath us it is today. Allowing ourselves to be held, to be supported. Noticing if there's anything that's holding us back from letting go in this moment. Allowing ourselves to rest as we are. and allowing ourselves to arrive as we are. We might bring our awareness back to the breath, noticing the inhale into the exhale. We can maintain this breath if this is what's comfortable for us. Or if we'd rather, we might see if we can bring the breath in and out through the nose. Again, only if that's something that feels comfortable. We also might see if we can bring the breath down into the diaphragm, into the belly, allowing ourselves to take big, deep breaths. And maybe releasing them slowly. We can allow ourselves to take this moment, this time, to take the big breaths, to let ourselves take up as much space as we need. Remembering throughout our practice that we can always stretch out. We can always take a break when we need. That in this space and in this moment, we can do what serves us. We can know that what we need is not too much. And we are perfect exactly as we are. And if we like, we might slowly begin to bring a bit of movement back into the body. Maybe the fingers, the toes, the head and neck. We can take nice big stretches or anything that feels comfortable, anything that feels like we need in this moment. If we're reclined, we might gently roll off to the right or left side and slowly start to press up so that we can come into our first posture. So for our first posture, we'll be coming into Baddha Konasana, supported Baddha Konasana. And so for that, if we are seated on the mat or if we are in bed, we might use a few different props to achieve this. So we can take our bolster or maybe one or two pillows and lay them down along the length of the mat. If we're someone who doesn't feel comfortable being completely reclined, maybe we have some congestion or we just don't like being reclined, we can create a ramp using blocks or other pillows or blankets. We can either take our pillows and stack them right here, like on top of each other. If we have blocks, we might take one and place it in the highest position and one in the lowest position. And when we get it to about the height that we feel like we'd like, we'll go ahead and take our bolster and rest that against the supports. We're going to bring our bum against the base. Then we'll slowly recline back. We might bring the soles of the feet together, the knees apart. If we like, we can also maybe place a blanket or blocks under the knees, especially if we feel tightness through the inner line of the leg. We can cover ourselves with a blanket if we'd like. If we have an eye pillow, we can use that now. If we're seated in our chair, we might rest back against the back of the chair and also roll the feet onto the outer edges if that feels comfortable. Or if it's more comfortable, we can have our feet on the ground. If we have a second chair in front of us, we might lift the feet onto the chair, placing the soles of the feet together, knees apart, to make our butterfly pose for our feet. And same options here. We might roll a blanket, put it around the neck for a little support as we recline back. We could also put a bolster beneath the feet for more support and lifting the legs. So we have lots of options no matter where we are. Beautiful. So we're going to be here for the next about 5 to 7 minutes. And as we recline back, we might take a few moments to reconnect to the breath, noticing the sensation of breath in the diaphragm or belly. And if we notice tightness through the heart space, we might take a moment and see if we can consciously release and relax the shoulders down away from the ears. Our hands can come out to the sides into a T shape. They can also be next to us, maybe palms up if that's comfortable. For our affirmations today, you might choose to say them in your mind. You might choose to whisper them softly, or simply listen and allow them to kind of rattle around wherever we need. There is room for us here. Our softness is powerful. Our hearts know our joy. Our hearts know who we are. there is space for my whole self. We might slowly come back to the breath, noticing our inhale and exhale. We can gently begin to roll off the props onto the right or left side. When we're ready, pressing up, we'll set up for our next posture. Our next posture is a folded deer. So we again have a few different prop setups we can use here. If we like, we can use our bolster and blocks to create a bit of a table, or we can use our blocks on their own or the bolster on its own. So whatever assortment you have, you might want nearby. You also might want to grab a blanket, either for warmth, we can wrap it around the shoulders, kind of like a cape, letting it kind of drape around the body. And if we have a second blanket, it might be handy just to have in case there's an area that we feel like we need support in, so that we can offer that to ourselves. So we're going to start with our props off to the left side. And we might start in this butterfly type position. We'll leave the front leg where it is. The right leg, sorry, we can either stretch out directly, or we can fold it back, coming into this like kind of figure four type position, or what we sometimes call deer legs. So today, this This feels okay right now. I might end up stretching it out later. But we'll take a moment here, just kind of let everything settle. If you notice that the bum is pulling up a bit, this is where we might want to grab our extra blanket and kind of put it underneath so that nothing's kind of hanging in the air. But again, we have lots of options. So what we'll do is we'll bring the heart space in the direction of the folded knee in front of us. And we can take our hands and rest them on our blocks. If we have space, we can come down to our elbows. I'm actually going to move my belly a bit to make more space. And we can stay like this. We can take our bolster, put it on top, create a table, a little bit of extra height. Or we can have this upright so that we can rest our head on it. And then maybe rest the arms on our blocks. So whatever feels comfortable, whatever feels good. And anything in between. If you find a setup that works for you that isn't any of these, that's okay. That's great. That's wonderful. We just want to make sure our body feels supported so that we can relax a little bit. If we're in our chair, we can turn the chair around so that the back of the chair is facing us. We might pull that chair off towards the left a bit. We can open the legs into a V if it's comfortable, and then angle our body so we're over the left knee, and then again come into a bit of a fold here with our head against the back of the chair. If we like, we can throw a blanket over the chair to make it a little softer. And if you still aren't able to find a posture that works for you, let me know and I'll give you some other options. You can always come into a forward fold as well. Anything that supports your body in the moment. And once you find the posture again, we'll reconnect to the breath, maybe taking a few deep breaths. If we feel some congestion from the front of the body, maybe seeing if as we inhale, we can feel the backs of the ribs expand. And we might notice those areas that we might feel tightness. And on our exhale, we'll see if we can invite softness into those spaces. If at any point we decide to stretch out the right leg, we can do that too. Our affirmations. I can let go of what no longer serves me. I can release the weight of expectations. I can release what wasn't meant for me. And when we're ready, we can return to the breath. Notice the inhale and exhale. We can place our hands against the props or the floor and gently press up. Taking a moment here for bringing the heart space back to a neutral position. And we can release the leg and come back into our butterfly or Baddha Konasana. If we're in the chair, we'll press up and move the chair to the opposite side. We can move any props in the opposite direction. Beautiful. Setting them up on the opposite side. And remember, we can change this. It doesn't have to be the same on either side. And again, we have the same options. We can stretch the left leg out this time, or we can fold it behind us. Taking a moment here just to let those muscles in the leg release, relax. Adjust our blankets if we like. And then we'll bring the heart space in the direction of the right knee this time. And then come into whichever variation of fold feels good for us. Beautiful. Continuing to breathe in a way that feels comfortable. We don't have to hold what we no longer need. We can release it. We can release others' expectations to make space for our own dreams. And when we're ready, we can slowly come back to the breath and begin to gently press up, bringing the heart space back through center. Then we can release the back leg and we'll set up for our next posture. So, for this posture called sidelying posture, I'm going to get folks in the chair set up first. So, if you're in a chair, you would rest rolling gently off to one side or the other. We're going to do both sides. We might rest our pillows or our bolster against the back of the chair and gently relax against that bolster. If we like, we might have a blanket or another pillow for the head. We can wrap our arms around the bolster. We can turn the bolster on its side. And for the lower body, we can either have them resting on the chair in front of us or we can have them resting on the floor, whatever feels comfortable. If we are on our mat or in our bed, again, we have a few options. So I'm going to start by taking, if we have a, let me start like this. If we have our extra pillow, we might grab our extra pillow and place it at the top of our mat, and that'll support our head. If we have two blocks or an extra blanket, we might stack that next to us along the length. We may or may not use this. It's just this way, once we're down, we don't have to adjust it if we feel like we would like some extra support. So we can have two blocks. We can also do two blocks with a blanket on top if we want a little bit more softness. And then I am going to lie down on, again, whichever side feels more comfortable for you because we're going to flip and do the other side. And if it is uncomfortable for you to lie on both sides, then you can spend the entire practice on the one side, which is what I'm going to do because right now my left side doesn't want to be lied on, and that's okay. So I'm going to come into a position where I have my bolster where I can grab it. And I am going to lie on my side. And again, anything you need to do with your pillow, I think I might need to double it for me. I'm going to lay down on my side so that my neck and my head are supported. I can stack my legs or I can bring the leg in front on top of the block support that we built. I'm going to keep mine stacked. And then we're going to grab our bolster and lay it in front of us. And we can wrap our arms around it. One underneath, or we can scoot it down if it feels uncomfortable on the arm. And we'll take a few deep breaths here. Taking notice of anywhere that we're trying to hold up, anywhere where we feel like we can't release or relax. And if that has to do with our position, we can adjust our position. And maybe on our exhale, seeing if we can again invite softness into those spaces that might feel a little tight, a little sore. We might again reconnect to the breath and noticing the inhale and the exhale. Our affirmations. Our breath carries truth through our bodies. Our breath carries truth through our bodies. Our breath allows us to speak our truth. If we choose, we can transition to the opposite side, either by rolling over and taking our bolster with us. If we are using our blocks, we can set that up on the other side. Or we can flip, sitting up and putting our head on the opposite side of the mat and setting up the props in that way. Whatever feels comfortable is what we can do. Same in our chair, we can rotate to the opposite side. If we're feeling a little chilly and we didn't grab a blanket to cover ourselves before, we can do that on this side. So many options. And when we're ready, returning to our sideline posture on the opposite side, taking a few deep breaths, reconnecting to the breath, noticing our inhale and exhale. Our affirmation: joy belongs to us. We are allowed to feel good in our bodies, in our minds, and in our breath. We'll slowly return to the breath, noticing the inhale and exhale. If we have found this position extremely comfortable, we can feel free to stay here for our meditation and Shavasana, making any adjustments that we need to make ourselves just a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more relaxed. If we'd rather, we can come into any final resting position that feels good for us. We might lie on our backs with our bolster or blanket beneath the knees. If we're in our chair, we might place our feet firmly on the ground, resting back, maybe holding our bolster in our arms, maybe with a rolled blanket behind the neck. We can come into legs up the wall or anything else that feels good for us right now. And once we've found our position, we'll take a few deep breaths. If we like, we might begin to slowly extend the exhale, making it a bit longer than the inhale. But that's only if it feels comfortable for you. But let's rest together. We don't have anything else we have to do right now. We don't have to try. There's nothing to hold, nothing to carry. We can let our bodies soften in this space. We might feel the ground underneath us, steady, constant. We can let it hold us. We can allow ourselves to be held. Our breath moves gently, and we don't have to change anything about it. We can allow ourselves to notice when the breath comes in and goes out. A quiet rhythm of being here together. If it feels right, we might place a hand on our heart. We might notice the soft rise and fall. We might notice the quiet beating of our hearts, steady and present. This is our truth, our life. We are not too much. We have never been too much. Our truth is a gift. Our joy is medicine. We don't have to earn this. We already belong as we are. We can rest in that knowing. No need to fix. No effort. We are perfect as we are. We are wanted as we are. Just being exactly who we are. We'll rest here in this space for the next few minutes. And when we're ready to return, there's no rush. We can begin with a soft breath, a small wiggle in the fingers or toes. And we can carry this softness, this knowing of our truth, of our belonging, of our joy with us. We can begin to take any movements that feel good, or if we're really comfortable where we are, we can feel free to stay here as well. If we would like, we can come to a seated position, maybe gently rolling off to the right or left side first, and pressing up into seated. If we like, from wherever we are, whether reclined or seated, we can bring our hands to heart center or place them anywhere against the body that feels good. And we'll take 3 breaths together in a way that feels comfortable for us. Thank you so much. You might want to take a moment to thank yourself for making space for rest. And I'd like to thank you for sharing this time with me and for being in community with me. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I'll be here for the next minute or so if anyone has any questions. But otherwise, have a wonderful night. Thank you, Andrea. And thank you so much for your class today. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, all. Go ahead and shut down now. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Valerie. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you, Shalini. Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. And if you have any ideas for more, go ahead and put it in the Patreon. And I'm more than happy to plan things that you need. Thank you. Okay. Good night, all. Ah. It's not shutting down. There it is.